Yes, what you saw was a young white man brandishing a weapon, having a good old time, intimidating voters down in Florida, Duval County specifically. Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, Tabitha Speaks Politics, and yes, we are still on the road to 500,000 subscribers. We're getting there, and we will get there slowly but surely. If you've come across this video and are not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I would love to have you. We talk all things politics by way of viral news stories, and today the viral news story is all about that savage. His name is Caleb James Williams. And he and about 6 or 7 of his friends decided to load up the truck, go out to one of the polling stations, and Caleb decided that he was going to take it a step further and brandish his rusty machete to intimidate voters. Now, of course, they're Trump supporters, and the voters that they were going to intimidate, of course, were Harris Walls voters. And who do they gun for when they get to the polling station? They head straight for 2 elderly women. I believe they were in their 60s and their 70s. They were Harris Walls supporters, and they were standing outside the polling station, waving their signs and, doing what supporters do outside of the polling station. And somebody at the polling station called 911. Here's the news report. Check it out.
Right now at 6, an 18-year-old accused of using a machete to antagonize voters at a local polling site is now facing a second felony charge. Tonight, we're also hearing from one of the victims who says the 18-year-old approached her.
I don't tolerate that kind of stuff. Nobody should tolerate that. And that's why we just called the police right away.
Investigators identified that teen as 18-year-old Caleb Williams. Within the past hour, Neptune Beach police say they've now upgraded his charges to include a felony charge of voter intimidation.
This violent incident unfolded in Neptune Beach Tuesday afternoon. It happened outside the Jacksonville Public Library Beaches branch. And that's where we find our News4Jax reporter, Brianna Andrews, live tonight with new information on this. Brianna?
Ken, Neptune Beach police say it all happened right here. They say a group of teenagers between the ages of 16 and 18 years old came here to try to antagonize the opposing party and then just wanted to start a ruckus.
Neptune Beach police scene. There's a truck full of boys at the library pulling machetes out of their trucks. Okay. Kids or adults? They're adult. They're teenage boys, but they're pulling machetes out and coming over by us.
Okay. This is the call for help after police say 18-year-old Caleb Williams confronted a group of people holding Harris Wall signs with a machete at Beaches Branch Library.
Some of them have just walked out to the sidewalk.
There were so many people around us, watching this going on.
I spoke with one of the sign holders who say Williams and the teens approached her. She did not want to show her face on camera.
Kind of walk me through what happened.
Okay, we're standing there waving our signs in support of the Harris campaign. And these group of teenagers pulled up with in a black SUV, as I said, pulled into the parking lot the wrong way, and screaming and yelling and waving their Trump flags.
Records show Caleb Williams is a registered Republican. Neptune Beach police say he was one of 8 teenagers who tried to antagonize the opposing political party.
They come down to us, about as close as you are to me, waving the flag in my face. And we turned around and told them to go away. We're going to call the police. Right. And then one of them had the machete. He was trying to scare us, and try to intimidate us. And that's against the law to intimidate voters.
And that woman says she hopes that security increases at all polling sites so something like this never happens again. She did also say that she's not going to let this incident stop her.
Now, see, Caleb didn't think this all the way through. Caleb is 18 years old, which means he's an adult down in Florida. All of his little buddies that was with him, they were 16 and 17. So the only one that got arrested was Caleb. Caleb is facing charges. He faces one charge of aggravated assault on a person 65 years of age or older, and he faces another charge of improper exhibition of a firearm or a dangerous weapon. And I do believe Caleb's charges are going to be increased, or an additional charge, a felony charge of voter intimidation will be added to his list of charges. Don't you just love that for Caleb? I love that for Caleb. Let's give Caleb a round of applause. As a matter of fact, as joyous as Caleb was in that video and in this photo, he wasn't looking like that when he had to stand in front of the judge. Here's Caleb standing in front of the judge to get his bond and other information.
I'm going to set bond in account one at $50,003. You'll be outfitted with a GPS monitor not to go within 1,000 feet of a polling place. Count two is improper exhibition of the firearm. Bond will be set at $5,003. Those are your bonds. All because been found, public defenders appointed, and your pass date is November 20th.
Now, police put out a statement that said, quote, "The group was there for no other reason but for ill intentions to cause a disturbance. This is not an incident of solely a First Amendment protected right, but rather one where they were simply there to cause a ruckus," end quote. Here's a more detailed statement coming from the police department.
To an armed person with a machete call at the Beach's Branch Library, which serves as an early voting precinct at the beach. Units arrived and found 8 young males, 7 of which were juveniles and 1 adult male, inside the parking lot of the polling location. The investigation revealed that the group arrived to protest and antagonize. Caleb James Williams, he's 18 years of age, of Neptune Beach, brandished a machete in an aggressive, threatening posture over his head. The group was there for no other reason but for ill intentions to cause a disturbance. Voting in our country is one of the most sacred and protected rights we have. Ensuring everyone's right to vote is crucial, and it will not be impeded upon in Neptune Beach or Duval County. This goes way beyond expressing freedom of speech. To say your piece is your First Amendment protected right, but that goes out.
The Duval County Democratic Party chair, Daniel Henry, also put out a statement, and this is what he had to say. The young men had been wielding flags bearing former President Donald Trump's name during the incident, and that the individuals they confronted were carrying signs in support of Vice President Kamala Harris. Daniel Henry went on to say that the act was troubling and it was an act of intimidation. He thanked the police department for their swift response to this situation. And now these individuals, his little friends, Caleb's little friends, had the unmitigated gall to head on over to GoFundMe to try to raise funds for his bond. I've already reported that GoFundMe. I'll put a link to that GoFundMe down in the description box, and I invite you to do the same, because them putting out that GoFundMe to raise funds for bail because of violent acts, that is against the terms of service for GoFundMe. So yeah, that GoFundMe needs to be taken down. How dare you? How dare you criminals and savages think you're having a good time going out to polling places to intimidate voters, carrying a weapon. and then being held accountable for that deplorable behavior. And instead of reaping the repercussions, you try to skirt the repercussions. No, either come up with that money for your bail for yourselves, or he sits there until his trial starts.